Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hi, everybody!
Hey, everyone!
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast! The show where we get hype about stuff and things!
Oh! Nailed it! Nailed it. I'm one of your hosts, David Bell.
I'm swinging in to say hello. My name's Michael Swaim.
Oh, Michael, thank you so much for
Of course,
being
my
on.
pleasure.
Guest co-host. We had Abe last time. We're getting all them beans, all them delicious beans.
Guest ghost.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Much appreciated. How you been? What have you been up to?
Well, I'm the new Tom by transitive property because Abe was the new Tom and I'm the new Abe, so I'm doing goddamn fantastic.
Yeah, you're just
Tom
like
usually is.
yeah. You're like engulfing them with your energy and you're taking them over, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they are no more.
So I'm doing all right by any standard, really. How are you, Dave?
I'm okay. I've been working all day on writing, so I've been in one of those like writing holes, you know, where like where you're honed in on a script for like 6+ hours, and I just like took a shower and I'm like just sort of been knocked out of that hole, so I'm a little off. I'm a little weird. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm also a little weird because I have the opposite situation where I have a million different things that are in different stages. Some writing, some pre-production, some editing. And I had to attend to like 9 different things today. So it was like nonstop getting jerked around to different universes.
Right, juggling.
Yeah, like recording Dylan Seaton as like a gruff Cockney guy for a medieval thing, and then suddenly talking to German investors about branding opportunities for Gamescom, the big video, like real content whiplash today. So we'll be weird.
And now I'm jerking
We'll
you
be
into
weird
here.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be weird together. And I guess let's start by going through these producers. Let's do the producer dance.
All right. Yeah, can I start?
You want to do normally Tom does the second half and I do the first.
But let's make it weird, Dave. Let's weird it up.
Okay. You do the first. You do the first. I'll do the second.
All right. Mainly because I already thought of a bit for the first one, so I'm kind of locked into it's too late. Just to make it weird, just to be weird, let's turn them all into epic slams. So thank you, Dork Garby.
Ooh.
Epic slam. Thank you, Screaming Horse. Wow, I can't even do 2 in a row, Dave. This was a pathetic attempt at weirdness. Thank you, Screaming Horse Pyramid. Only Dork Garby gets an insult. Everyone else
sorry,
gets a
Dork
straight
Garby.
read. No, don't apologize to Dork. Thank you, Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella. Thank you to Lef.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seismic Charge Noise. Bwam.
Nice.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pneumona Ultra Microscopic Cilio Volcaniziosis Jones.
Nice.
You like to take that one. That's why you wanted the first block, right? Because Tom doesn't want to do that bullshit.
Well, actually, the way we have this organized is just that Tom always does the second half, and these come in. I always arrange them by just like whatever's new, so that'll eventually make its way down to Tom.
Oh, okay. It'll all right. Because I was thinking of quitting patronizing you guys and then repatronizing you as Flossie Nossie Nihilipilification Smith. But now I can just say the joke once and it can be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Dead like the baby from Eraserhead. Hey, thanks, baby from Eraserhead.
Nice, thank you.
Supporting Gamefully Unemployed. Chiz. Lily Tits. Parenthetical rhymes with jizz. And parenthetical, thank you.
Yeah.
Keeping it weird. Keeping it weird with our good buddy, These 7 Bs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, These 7 Bs. Thank you, Breezy Ruizy. And last but not least, in this first section of thank yous, thank you, Davey Francis, for the revenge of the colon.
The revenge of the colon, yep. I would also like to thank MVB. Thank you very much. Thank you to Chester's Prophet. Thank you to definitely not Guillermo del Toro. Good to know. Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad you know Tom. Thank you to Bob Grenville. Thank you. Thank you to Steven. Thank you to Down Home Chicken. Peacock. Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg. Thank you to Asking Seven. Thank you to Hey, fuck you. I'm Happy Ed. Thank you to Tom and Dave, our good writers. Follow them at Collider and some more news. Thank you. Thank you for that plug. Thank you to Tiger Drawers, Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Thank you very much. I sung it. I did it. I did it, motherfucker. Thank you to Dan Hackroyd. Thank you very much. We did it. We did the first round of producer thank yous.
And my private in-joke of all constantly insulting Doc Garby, one of our dearest supporters.
Is that a running thing?
Now takes place over multiple podcast networks, so I'm happy about that.
That's amazing. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. That's like an achievement unlocked or something.
It's the bad fan art. He brings it on himself.
You asked for this, Doc. Remember that. Let's talk about trailers.
Sure, speaking of bad fan art, this first trailer in a way.
Oh, that was beautiful. This is the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, he is the son.
Yeah, that's true.
He is Jason Reitman, director of Labor Day.
Wow. That one I have not seen.
I have seen it because it was filmed in the Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, same place they filmed The Judge, and like in the same year. So there was like two like touching dramas that were filmed there, and that's always weirded me out. All right, so I get a lot of the judgment on this trailer. I still like a lot of what Jason Reitman does, even if some of his stuff has been a little dated. Like I know like Juno is probably kind of a cringy watch now, you know. Or at least I assume. So like, I'm still cautiously excited for this. What about you?
I feel like, well, the way it appears to me, my learned friend, is that the original Ghostbusters at least strive to combine, it's like humor that was popular at that time, like Caddyshack, Stripes, Bill Murray driven, like that brand of humor with, big budget adventure and action sequences with cool visual effects. And I feel like after the recent attempt where they went all humor and they just weren't able to compete at that level, in my opinion, the recent Ghostbusters remake.
Oh, agree, yeah.
So they just sort of competed on like the more broadly friendly, like Lego Movie or Muppet Movie, potentially, like that kind of vibe of humor. And this movie seems to have said, all right, we won't try to compete on that level. We'll just take ourselves very seriously and do the action adventure part. Like, it was telling to me that the final splash shot was, the car swooping into frame with they're really focusing on the spectacle, which is a part of the original Ghostbusters. I just think, and this might be the smartest thing at their disposal, I think it limits the potential. And then, of course, you get that teaser shot at the end where you're like, so here's what I've come down to. if Bill Murray is like in it and is providing all the comedy, and it's a mashup between Bill Murray driven scenes where he's crotchety and yelling at kids and action and spectacle, phenomenal.
Well,
I think it'll more likely just be a Bill Murray cameo, and they won't have that much humor.
hold on. Isn't that tease at the end Dan Aykroyd?
Is it?
Because, well,
it's just a
because
voice.
Ray ran that bookstore. Bill Murray didn't.
Well, even worse. Even worse.
Yeah, I know. I think they're teasing Dan Aykroyd, which,
okay.
yeah, I don't think anybody really is. I mean, it's fine. He'll tell them all about aliens and 9/11 and stuff. But, like, I think here's my hope, because I agree with you. It looks like they course corrected, and studios always make this mistake where fans criticize it and they go, "Oh, so we should do the opposite." And it's like, "No, you jackasses." And it feels like, maybe don't make a Ghostbusters in general. Maybe that's the answer.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Just make something new. But think of a troupe or a group that has a similar analogous place in the comedy landscape and give it, like, hook James Gunn up with Broken Lizard and have them make a Ghostbusters and just leave them alone or something.
Specifically, or get like
corporatize a Ghostbusters out, in my
right,
opinion.
or someone like Edgar Wright.
Sure.
Because what Ghostbusters is, I think, in terms of comedy, is high concept. Most of the jokes written in advance with some room for improv. Right. That's what you would say the original was.
Yeah,
and so
mashed up with the plot of a big budget action adventure.
Right, and they went in a totally different tone for the 2016 one. It was the wrong tone. I actually thought there was some funny moments in that. I thought some people, like a lot of the people, did a good job, but it just didn't feel like a Ghostbusters for that reason. It felt like a what's his face.
It was a perfectly competently put together. It just felt like a Paul Feig. Who are you going to say?
Paul Feig was the director.
Yeah,
Apatow.
And
it was the Apatow.
to
brand
me, it
of
felt
humor.
I can really feel a Paul Feig, and it felt very Paul Feig.
Yeah,
and he's fine. He's good. It was good.
But it really, does seem like it's threatening to be the opposite, where it's like, no jokes. We take our Ghostbusters seriously.
Yeah.
My hope, though, is that what we're seeing is the marketing course correcting more than the movie. I don't think Jason Reitman, and this has, Jason Reitman and
Dan Aykroyd's
Dan Aykroyd and his relationship to all these people. Right. I think they know that, like, don't make it completely serious. I think they want to have a horror element in it, which is why the co-writer is also the director of Monster House and Poltergeist, which isn't a great, like Poltergeist, the remake wasn't very good. Also City of Ember. But they clearly are going for, like, a serious tone or a serious world, which is what the original Ghostbusters did. It was trying to be a horror movie at times. It was scary.
At least
like
scary
when I was
enough
a kid,
to scare
it scared
13-year-old kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if the marketing is like, let's just really push that fact, because there's parts here with, like, Paul Rudd in the supermarket with little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's not serious. That looks dumb. That's like dumb and goofy.
They're not even trying to be scary. One of them's like lying in a chocolate blanket like a s'more, going like, "Oh, grrr, like I'm happy,"
right.
Snorlax. So it's they're doing bits. The CG ghosts are doing bits.
Yeah.
So it might just be the trailer, but the trailer is super serial, guys. Like, it really feels. Up until the end, and they're like, one of the original Ghostbusters on a phone. That'll be funny, maybe.
I think the problem is that there's no way to really pin down what makes Ghostbusters Ghostbusters.
Oh, I was also going to ask, do you have great reverence for Ghostbusters?
No, but I think, like Ghostbusters 2, I love because I was the right age, and I know that it was received in a very cynically, because it did feel like it dumbed it down for kids.
Right.
Made it more of a commercial product, and I get that. I think ultimately what made Ghostbusters was probably those 4 actors. Like that,
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's sort of the problem. Like there's certain things you could reboot. For example, I know like Red Letter Media pointed this out first, and it's always stuck with me. You could reboot Indiana Jones pretty easily because Harrison Ford doesn't necessarily make Indiana Jones. Yeah, I'm not saying I want that to happen, but it could be rebooted, I think, because Indiana Jones is like he's just a character. He's a hat. He's a whip. You know what I mean?
He has the potential to transcend because he's also Pitfall Harry or whatever.
He could be James Bond.
He could be a Bond or a Batman.
Saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Uncharted is also, by the way. It's a soft reboot of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It's just called Uncharted.
Right, and you could just make a new movie instead of making Indiana Jones. You can make, The Mummy.
Who would you make Indiana Jones?
I wouldn't remake Indiana Jones.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm just saying you could.
Tiffany
you
Haddish
could turn
is
that
the
into
answer.
a bomb.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, you're right. So yeah, I don't know. This doesn't feel like that case. It doesn't feel like you can just slap uniforms on comedians. It was kind of a flash in a pan situation. It was like a really cool, neat, unique idea for a comedy that worked for 1.5 movies. So I don't know.
That's right. Just give money to other up-and-coming or even established funny creatives and let them make other movies.
Right. I always thought our generation, or not our generation, but like the new generation's Ghostbusters was like Shaun of the Dead. Like that felt like it's not the same movie, obviously, but it's a high-concept comedy that everybody sort of knows and loves, and a lot of people have now grown up on. Like, there are new things that can be Ghostbusters, and it doesn't have to be Ghostbusters.
Well, then we win. Or, like, because I would say those are the millennials, that. And, man, the Cornetto trilogy beats the pants off Ghostbusters. No offense, Ghostbusters fans. Those
fair.
are better films. Hot Fuzz, get out of here.
No, you're not. I mean, I don't know if you're right there. It's subjective, but I get it. I would say those are better made, right? Edgar Wright's a better director.
They were harder to make.
I can't even say Edgar Wright's a better director than Ivan Reitman.
He's more
that seems
meticulous.
absurd.
It depends what you value.
Yeah, it depends on what you... Yeah, that's true. Any other thoughts on this one?
Not really. I hope they reveal what the Afterlife is. I would go.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be worth
you're
$20.
Right. This is a Zool thing, right?
Because the Ghostbusters, they don't... In fact, that's what was chilling about The Trap, is you're like, what is this nether space that these souls have been confined to?
The cartoon answered it.
They did. But I wonder if this will be the live action one that actually goes into the afterlife. Yeah. Breaks down the rules.
Here's my prediction, my cynical ass prediction. Ghostbusters was Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is the original Star Wars trilogy. Ghostbusters 2016 is the prequels. And this is the terrible new Star Wars, where they course correct so hard. So everything is just the original again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, the prequels were bad, but they introduced new elements. And this is just going to be like, it's Zool again, and the dogs are back. Because you see the dogs, the hellhounds.
Dan Aykroyd's only in it to get blown again by a ghost. Yeah,
exactly. He's just going to show up. He's going to get blown again by a ghost, and then Adam Driver is going to stab him, and then he's gone. That's what it feels like, right? It's going to be them being hardcore. Like, I think the lesson they accidentally thought they learned was like, okay, don't do anything original. I'm guessing that's what it is. They'll be like, oh, okay, just do all the stuff in the first one. Yeah. So it's just going to be a series of references to the first movie and not much else. Let's talk about American Horror Story double feature.
Yeah, a thing that always has been and only is a series of references to everything else.
Yeah,
we're on Segway Fire today.
We really are. Well, no, you are.
Well, you structured the doc that way, my man.
Okay.
It's a collaborative. It's an alley-oop. It's a classic alley-oop.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like aliens and vampires are our two topics that intertwine here, right? Am I right?
You appear to be right. Here's what I'm very excited about. First of all, I don't think they're vampires. I talked about this
Lake of
on
Blood
Twitter.
or whatever it's called, part 1.
Well, here's what I know. 1, Macaulay Culkin's in it, so that's exciting.
Sure.
Our boy Mac. 2, I know that they've been shooting this in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
That's
right?
all you care about.
I know. No. It was. Look, every time something gets shot in Massachusetts, like the new Dexter, I have to hear about it. My parents message me or whatnot. So this one I just learned on my own. Provincetown, Massachusetts is, if you know Massachusetts, you know how it has that big dick coming out? Mm-hmm. It's the tip of the dick. It's P-Town. It is Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's
Tipton.
Yeah. It is an ex-whaling town that's very LGBTQ friendly, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like a party town. So I'm guessing the like sharp teeth and stuff, I'm guessing mermaids. Doesn't that make more sense for like a whaling party town? Because they didn't just film in Provincetown. I believe it takes place in Provincetown, which is like it specifically takes place there. So I'm
I don't
guessing
recall
it has
any
to do.
water imagery. Was there a bunch of water imagery that I'm blocking out?
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Why? Because there was a ton. All I remember
There's a ton of water imagery.
Yeah, but there's not
Michael.
imagery of like the vampires swimming. There's no gills. There's no fish tails, fish heads.
Look,
there's a violin made of meat.
Yeah, that's the aliens are doing the violin made of meat.
There's also a violin being drawn across an eyeball as a reference to Un Chien Andalou, the experimental surrealist film by Dali.
Wait. What is the reference to that?
Oh, there's Salvador Dali made a film where he cuts a cow's eye open.
Yeah. The Pixies wrote a song about it.
Yeah,
but what is the reference in the trailer? I missed that.
Oh, real quick, it shows, I believe, one of the alien eyes, and someone pulls the violin's bowstring across it like a razor blade, and the eye cuts open.
Oh, okay, I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is stupid, boring vampires. I just think, because we talked about how American Horror Story, they kind of just pull from whatever is hot. And I think there was like a brief moment with indie horror where we were talking about mermaids.
We were, definitely. The Lighthouse and, yeah.
Yeah, and Spring, and there's a few others. So I'm wondering if they jumped on that, I guess is what I'm saying. Because the location is like ripe for like mermaids, New England, like, you know, old folk tales.
This is a known quantity, though. It's like, or why get excited? First of all, 2 things I know about American Horror Story. There have been a couple seasons that are quite good, but by and large, like however many, what are there? It's 7 seasons. 5 of them are not good. So it's probably not good. And B, 2, I feel like they're stretching further and further. Like the aliens thing is clearly sci-fi. I understand sci-fi and horror are related, but they don't seem exactly the same to me. And
I think
do you understand the structure of the double feature? Like, will the stories reflect upon each other, or are they just 2 things in a row?
I assume they'll reflect each other. That's the thing that threw me off, because I knew about the Provincetown stuff, and then this trailer has a bunch of alien bullshit, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how the fuck that relates. I will say that Cape Cod, near P-Town, also has the sand dunes, which are very desert-like. So I'm guessing there's like, that's the transition point, at least visually, but I'm not certain. Because the alien stuff appears to be like Area 51, desert.
But I'm just saying, if their whole premise is like, look at this double feature and the casts, you know, did the same cast play different characters or they're thematically related? That's already what American Horror Story is, season to season. So I'm just confused about what the double feature brings to spice up the proceedings.
I have to assume there's some sort of connection, right? Between the damn alien, because everything they're doing is like, their posters are like aliens making out with
But that's
whatever
the
other
about
thing are.
This show is their marketing is so crackerjack. Like their posters and trailers are works of art that are really disturbing shorts or, visual things. And the show rarely holds up to that standard. So I'll basically just wait until everyone's seen it and they tell me if it was good or not.
They're specifically saying two worlds collide. So, yeah, that's what that implies. They're also really horny. Their marketing, everything is really horny.
I do think it would be funny if it turns out that it's vampire aliens.
I agree with you about American Horror Story in general. It's like The Walking Dead. There's a couple good seasons, and most of it is just like, meh. I have to watch this one because our boy Mac is in it, and I vacationed every year in Provincetown, so I just have to see the place from my childhood. That's not really an endorsement of this, but I hope it's good. I hope things are good.
I always hope it's good because I like horror and I like the cast. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is. I will say, I do think aliens are good in horror. The X-Files always made aliens scary to me, and I think we need more alien horror.
Yeah, but my suspicion is that they're going to have aliens that get bitten by vampires, and I just think that's silly. I don't know why, but it's too far for me.
Do you think it's alien vampire? You're probably right.
I'm like, I'll buy either one separately, but together, that's just absurd, my dear.
Right. The more I look at the... There's shots of vampires like swimming underwater, which makes me think, they're mer people.
How did I miss
again.
all that shit?
But they do look like fucking vampires,
and they
look
make
like
out with aliens.
But they're always in the water. You keep seeing them in the water in the promotional stuff. So
Murder
I don't
aliens is cool.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it's Atlanteans.
For some reason, I could buy a melding of the undersea, that unknown, pioneer, frontier, that unknown frontier, and space. So I could see aliens and mermaids melding more easily in a story than vampires. I just feel like aliens are about abduction, vampires are about seduction. They don't match. They're too matchy, but they don't quite match as themes go.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Well, you do aliens and kidnappers.
Yeah, just like dudes with vans, you mean?
Like, yeah, a whole race of them, like, out prowling the night.
Yeah.
Like they're a class. I was thinking, like, Prisoners. If Prisoners had a midpoint or third act twist where aliens abduct one of the prisoners.
Oh, yeah, fuck
or
it.
something. Yeah, I don't know. I would buy that more easily than vampire bites an alien and he becomes a vampire alien. That's all. Right.
I mean, what are the odds? That would be cool. I don't know. Vampire, because aliens, as far as we know, they're just like people with technology, right?
Well, unless you go all in, because, I would like a unified paranormal movie where the premise is like, almost Cabin in the Woods vibes. Like, a group of aliens are busy planting Sasquatches and they get bitten by a werewolf vampire, and now there's a werewolf vampire alien on the loose.
Oh, hell yeah.
Something like that could be fun. If you're going to go in, go all the way in.
Well, that's like the X-Files universe, because that's all those things exist in the X-Files universe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true. You wonder why Mulder it's funny that at any time Mulder could stop and go, Scully, well, we're hunting this voodoo zombie. Vampires are also real. I just think that's interesting to think about. They're real now at the same time.
Just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. Back to this
Turns
voodoo
out
zombie.
I was right about everything. Every single thing that we've wrote about in folklore.
All right,
was correct.
Scully. Oh, fucking right. Can I get some benefit of the doubt?
Let's talk about this next trailer.
Sure.
The card counter.
Yeah.
This, for me, I don't know about you, is completely resting upon the fact that Oscar Isaac is in it.
Yeah, and presented by Martin Scorsese, right? That was this one?
Yeah, for me, that doesn't indicate a good movie necessarily, but yes. And And
no,
of course,
for
Willem
me
Dafoe.
either, but it does for many folks. So I just thought that people should know that it's presented by Marty.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's why she was on my mind. Tiffany Haddish looks good in this. Oscar Isaacs looks good in this. So,
Cyclops, the kid who plays Cyclops in X-Men.
Yeah. I have
He's the
certain
kid in
genres
this.
that are a blind spot for me. In real life, gambling doesn't get me that much. And so movies about high-stakes gambling, similarly, I don't take those stakes very seriously. Unless you're James Bond and you have to, like, dip outside to shock your heart back to life. Like, I need
Right.
something additional. And this seems like it's just, he's got to play cards really good or he'll get his legs broke or whatever.
Here's the thing about playing cards. It's boring. Like, that's the thing.
Boring to watch.
Yeah, like, and so you have to do it dumb. Like, for example, in this, they're like, so you're a card counter, and then he's like playing poker, and like that's not you can't count cards while playing poker. That's not how poker works. Like I've known a few like professional poker players, and there's like mathematical calculations you can make, but
you consider
for
the
the
deck to
most
have
part-
like plus and minus charges, right? Or like have high potential or low potential at any given. That's is what I've heard.
It's basically you calculate pot odds, and it's just basing your hand versus all the possible hands that could beat your hand versus how big the pot is. That's more or less what I've figured out. Is there's a mathematical calculation that tells you basically like when to raise or fold and or call or whatnot based on what you have and what the other, like everything that could beat you. And it's more of like a very long term calculation.
Well,
So
that's
like
what
you
they
sit
said
and you
in the-
play for 5 hours.
In the trailer, it's mostly waiting. It's like a stakeout. Yeah, which
Yeah,
seems true.
he does. But like, for example, when that Bond example in Casino Royale, when Bond wins, if you go back and watch the hand that he wins on, it's one of the dumbest hands. He wins with like a 5 and like 7 of clubs in his hand, and that's like a hand you would never even go in on
See,
with
I'm
high
bored
stakes
already.
pokers.
Cards are boring.
Exactly. Cards are boring, which is why movies make it up, which I am for. So, I don't know. I think this is more probably about he's a card counter, and then it seems like Willem Dafoe put him in jail, and Cyclops wants his help. And I think it's going to be more about some sort of bullshit like that, right? Where
yeah,
like they're doing
a
a crime.
cooler or
Yeah.
just any like Vegas down on your luck, gotta survive one crazy night of hardship coming your way, Sonny.
Right. I should note this is written and directed by Paul Schrader. I think I said his name right. Who wrote
right.
Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. So, and First Reformed. So, yeah, he actually does have some cred here.
And First Reformed was totally like entrancing.
He directed First Reformed as well. And he also directed Dominion, the sequel to the prequel to The Exorcist. That
well, fine. Then everyone
where he got
involved is
replaced
great,
with Rennie Harlan.
and maybe it'll be great. Like how Moneyball is boring to like baseball's also boring to me, but Moneyball's good anyway. And Aaron Sorkin sucks, but Moneyball's good anyway. Maybe Card Counter will be objectively great to watch. It has a strong pedigree going for it.
Yeah, I guess I say this because I started by saying Oscar Isaac's the only thing grabbing me, and
But
that's
there's more.
Yeah, there's more. There's a lot more here.
There's more, but I think we were both trying to say that cards are inherently boring, and that's what the movie's about. So if that's enough to turn you off, there you go.
Yeah, well, again, I do think because Oscar Isaac is such like a fuck bucket that like I do think he's gonna get like if you don't care about Scorsese or any of the nerdy film stuff. Or card counting, I think him alone is going to get in some people because he's real hot right now. We love Oscar Isaac, and this is just the new Oscar Isaac movie.
His slicked back hair is currently streaked with the optimal amount of gray. It will never be this ideal of a ratio again.
Yeah. Also, he should be in more mob shit. He should be in a Scorsese film.
Yeah, but like real mob shit where they don't need to play cards because they're already breaking ankles and shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
like. Yeah. burying folks alive, and God bless their hearts. Mobsters, hardworking mobsters. They bring the drama.
I just looked up future projects for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in a movie called Francis and the Godfather, playing Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, there you go.
So that's not quite mob shit, but
Nope.
It's directed by Barry Levinson and has Elizabeth Moss and Jake Gyllenhaal also in it.
Gyllenhaal, that's like a Nintendo Power seal of approval or whatever of quality.
Oh, yeah.
Gyllenhaal has good taste in projects, so that's
who
a good sign.
Gyllenhaal's playing? Our buddy Robert Evans. It clearly must be our friend Robert Evans, not the producer.
Okay. I was hoping he would play Pacino somehow.
That would be amazing.
Holy
would be
shit. Really good, yeah.
No other thoughts on the card counter?
Not really.
You don't seem that into it. Let's talk about something more exciting. King Richard.
Oh, God. Yeah, Space Jam didn't focus enough on Michael Jackson's dad.
You mean Michael Jordan, but
I'm sorry,
Michael Jackson's
Jordan.
dad, that would be
Michael
interesting.
Jordan's dad. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Space Jam should have taken a wild left turn and focused on No, I just don't like the setup of, I'll tell you what really rubbed me the wrong way is the actors that play Venus and Serena are not credited. And I love Will Smith. And I get that Will Smith is selling the movie, but the movie's called King Richard, and it's about Venus and Serena Williams' dad and how it's just a meditation, it seems from the trailer, on what a genius he was for having the plan that his daughters would be amazing at tennis.
Yeah.
Let's all give him his flowers for what he did by thinking you should be good at tennis, my daughters.
Here's the thing. Here's my very optimistic view. Two of the executive producers are Serena and Venus Williams.
All right, then I'm off base and it's going to be fine.
Well, no, you're right. Also, Will Smith is a producer. You're right. This doesn't look right, because it is like, let's celebrate the man behind these two incredible women. That said, I wonder if there's a story behind how this was made, and maybe they were like, we really want to honor our father because he really did a lot for us. There could be a story there.
Well, if they're a driving force and that's what they decide, that's what I'm saying, is that totally legitimizes it. Or maybe it's a marketing thing, and by the end, the movie is rightly focused or properly focused. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or I guess, but if they are behind it, then I completely retract my statement, because if you want to make a love letter to your father, you're allowed to do that, so that's fine.
Right. I mean, what I'm reading here is the screenplay came from The Blacklist, so it doesn't sound like it started with them necessarily. So I don't know, man. It does feel weird that Will Smith is like taking over this movie.
Yeah.
And that Venus and Serena Williams, it should be a movie about them.
And Parenthood's a tough gig. I'm sure the dad strived and, blood, sweat, and tears and love for his daughters, but they did the thing. They actually did the thing.
Right.
It just seems odd.
I don't know. It is very weird, because I think it's also like, biopics usually have the part where the parents are like, you're never gonna make it. So it is a neat idea. And their dad is just very supportive. Yeah. So that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I will. It's hard to judge it from this one trailer.
Nor is it the first time Will Smith has done the character who their only role is to I only say, yes, we will succeed to the universe. I cannot.
Right.
Pursuit of Happiness, I think, is the one that I'm thinking of.
Right.
But yeah, it's an inspirational Will Smith role. That's a bucket of roles that I think he's going to keep aging gracefully into and taking.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not bad at it. I'm sure it will be moving as shit. I just hope that it has the proper third act focus on the people who actually accomplished the thing.
Super agree. Also, I just a side note, I love it whenever someone sticks a wig on John Bernthal and gives him a non-tough guy role. I love it every single time. Every time he shows up in this, or like I think he was in that Scorsese film. He was in The Wolf of Wall Street, and he's just like someone glues a wig to his head, and they're like, "Smile, John Bernthal. Pretend you're not the fucking Punisher." It's so funny to me, and I want more of it. I want more of it.
I love it when I mix up Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson because it's such a good look.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about the next trailer then. This one really baffles me. This is the trailer for Army of Thieves.
I was like, this can't be what I think it is. It is that.
Yeah.
It's the German gentleman from Army of the Dead who opens the safe, and it's a prequel. It's his whole deal before Army of the Dead. It's weird, Dave. It's weird, wild stuff.
It's so weird. Zack Snyder has a story credit. It is directed by the guy who I believe plays the German guy in Army of the Dead.
Well, you can absolutely understand from his vantage that why he'd be like, you want more of this character in an expanded universe? Hell yeah, sure.
I don't think it came out immediately after. It feels like they were filming Army of the Dead, and he walked up and he was like, "Hey, this is the weirdest thing. I've been making a movie about a character with this exact same name doing a heist." And they're like, "Fuck it, slap it on Army of the Dead." Like, that's what it's such a weird spin-off. It's happening immediately after.
Well, do you know if the actor's Austrian or German?
I don't know, man.
Like, is that his normal speaking voice? You don't know.
Is this gonna play into? He's German, according to his IMDb.
It would increase the chances that he was already making a film independently where he plays a character with that accent.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could see it, but it's still highly unlikely. But like a Die Hard situation where it's just being repurposed at a marketing level.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how the hell this thing happened. The writer is also the writer of Army of the Dead, so I'm guessing it's. They're also writing Army of the Dead Lost Vegas, a TV series that's coming out next year.
Was Army of the Dead crazy successful?
I think Netflix just assumed it was going to be and greenlit an entire cinematic universe. But this is. Army of the Dead's fine. It's actually a rather dumb movie. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. If you're trying to launch a cinematic universe, though, and you're a giant soulless studio, like, I can imagine betting on Zack Snyder returning to zombies is not a bad bet. That's as an extended universe that might take hold, but I just don't think it's going to. I didn't see the kind of zeitgeist impact from Army of the Dead that I think you would need to justify continuing these on and on. But Netflix doesn't share their numbers, so maybe they're like, you guys don't know. Army of the Dead was, our Star Wars.
I think whatever's calculating their, whatever algorithm computer is doing this is malfunctioning, because they're like, okay, so you guys liked Army of the Dead, this movie about a heist during a zombie apocalypse? What if we did that, but without the zombies? Like, that is the dumbest direction.
And we release it after, and it's about before. Yeah, it's odd.
There's a shot in this where they're like, oh, geez, look at what's happening in Vegas. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Look at that. It's almost as if that's a better movie happening.
It's almost as if, something more interesting is literally on the horizon.
Yeah, it's like a heist movie of the whole time. They're like, did you hear about that Godzilla that's happening? And it's like, show us that.
Also, as far as I can tell, the Army of Thieves is just like 7 thieves. That's not really an army. In Army of the Dead, the word army refers to the zombie army, of which there are hundreds or thousands. Army of Thieves is referring to the group of protagonist thieves as an army. It bothers me. This movie feels like a bizarre afterthought, as if, and maybe Zack Snyder is just so powerful at this point that this is true, as if you could finish making one big movie and be like, we have $5 million left over in the budget. You want to make another movie?
The tagline for this movie on the poster is more safes, less zombies. That's what they're like, yeah. You fucking love it. Yeah, no, it really feels like it was like we have a bunch of, or it's like he filmed like the 4-hour Zack Snyder cut, and he was like, I have 2 hours on this character, and they're like, we don't need all this. Here's what we'll do, Zack. We'll just make that its own movie. 'Cause yeah, I hope they didn't like. It really, like, I really hope they didn't just start a separate production for this and like spend a bunch of money on it. Because it doesn't seem like it would be worth making. You know what I mean?
It's like Three Ninjas Kickback Part 2, No Ninjas.
Right. It feels like a short that would be like tacked on to the DVD.
It should be a 20-minute Pixar short before Army of the Dead. And if you wanted to really blow it out, do one for each of the characters and put it on the Blu-ray or DVD or what have you. Right. Yeah. Shorts that are about, or just release them on Netflix. Prestige shorts about each of the characters, see if that takes off, then spin out your extended universe. I don't know, maybe throw some alien vampires at them.
Yeah. Looking this up on Wikipedia, one of the producers referred to it as the Italian Job in a world where zombies exist.
But don't necessarily interact with our plot in a major way.
Yeah, exactly. They also called the genre a romantic comedy heist film. So it's a romantic comedy heist film that takes place in a world where zombies exist in a different country.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think there's zombies. Like you'd think, okay, what's going to happen? Okay, they're saying that the filmmaker teased that the undead may appear.
Oh, that's what there's going to be one zombie in a climactic moment.
Zack Snyder confirmed there are zombies in the film. I mean, yeah, there better fucking be.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe this movie is amazing. Maybe it's just like this really cool script that zombies like saying something about the genre and about the world. You know what I mean?
You don't have to give it the benefit of the doubt, Dave. You can if you want, but you don't have to.
It's not the benefit of the doubt. Is that I believe that nothing gets greenlit without someone thinking it's a good idea. You know what I mean? No one's just like, yeah, let's do that. That'll piss them off. So, like, clearly there's a reason this movie exists. There has to be. Like, even if the movie's not good, it probably started from an idea.
Right. Well,
so I'm trying to imagine what the fuck did it start from?
I mean, that dude that it's the vehicle for could be really talented and charming and easy to work with, and Zack Snyder could really want to help him out. I don't know. You know, is one of any number of examples.
Maybe he's the German Tom Cruise.
Of things that are reasons to make a movie that won't make the movie good necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about this next thing.
Sure.
Blade Runner Black Lotus. This is a weird one. Excuse me. A weird one to include, but it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and when the URL included channel equals Adult Swim, I was ready for a very different tone. Like, especially now that we have Star Trek Lower Decks and we're doing that with IPs now where we're like, fuck it, make it a comedy. I was ready for like a raunchy Blade Runner comedy. But I forgot, of course, that the other thing that Adult Swim does is very serious, kick-ass, like anime and anime-adjacent stuff. So this is a lightly animate out Blade Runner.
Yeah,
cartoon.
It's them in Crunchyroll. Part of me is excited for the idea of making a bunch of Blade Runner bullshits.
That's fine.
Like they should make a video game. It's one of those universes that you could tell a bunch of. It's like Star Wars almost. You could tell a shitload of different stories in this universe. It's built up enough, and it doesn't just have to be about replicants and Blade Runners. You know what I mean? Like it can be about
throwing
other
Indiana
things.
Jones in there. You know?
Yeah, fuck it. I don't know, man. I have nothing else to say about this other than like the animation doesn't look great, but I like where their heart is.
I don't think the animation looks great. I think all the dialogue that was featured was painfully like every line in the trailer you've heard 1,000 times before. Like, I don't think I'll get through it alone, and kill them all and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have super high hopes. Also because I've never found a Blade Runner thing to be rivetingly like action packed. Blade Runner 2049 is probably my favorite Blade Runner thing, and it is not riveting and action packed. And Black Lotus looks like it is trying to be riveting and action packed, so I just don't know how well it'll meld. And if it is a riveting action packed like thing about a robot fighting for its life, I didn't necessarily even need that to be Blade Runner related. Seems like that could be anything.
Yeah. I think I'm excited about the idea, not this specific thing, but the idea of living in the Blade Runner universe a little more.
It feels like entry level cyberpunk, and there's a lot of other I just want a Snow Crash show, Dave. Just give me a Snow Crash anime. Come on.
Okay, I will. I'll greenlight it.
Done.
All right. Next trailer, The Night House.
Oh yeah.
So, I have something to say about this, because we actually covered the trailer for this a long time ago, and we kind of dismissed it because it looked very generic. I wish I had looked it up, because one, this is getting good reviews. That's one. Two, it's from the writer and director who did a segment in the movie Southbound. VHS, they did a segment. They also directed the movie The Ritual, which I don't know if you've seen The Ritual.
Yeah, The Ritual is great.
Yeah.
VHS, it depends on the segment. Some of them are terrible and some of them are great. But it sounds like a good one, probably.
I think so. It was the segment Amateur Night. I'm going to look up what that is, but I don't remember.
But this looks, horror is so hit and miss in terms of whether it's going to actually give you like dread in your bowels when you see it. You know, who knows? But this definitely looks promising enough that it could. It has a Hereditary feel, but it doesn't look completely derivative. But it does have pale, naked, older people like in the night suddenly falling out of sight and stuff that I've seen trending recently in horror. But, there was enough variety in the like way it was filmed and the look of it that I'm like, yeah, there's room for another one of those for me.
Yeah, that's just, all right. So the VHS segment, it's the one with the fucking succubus that flies the dude into the sky.
Oh, that's a great one, and it's from his point of view, and you see it like eating him. Yeah,
right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the dude was also, I'm not certain, but I think he was in The Ritual as well.
Okay. And The Ritual rips.
No, you know what? I don't think that's true. But here's the thing. All right, The Ritual isn't, story-wise, it's not a particularly amazing movie either. It's got, like, tastes of Blair Witch, and, like, Apostle, any culty things.
Yeah.
But it's the fucking look of that movie.
Right. And the monster when it's finally revealed. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's why The Night House, like, that's why we wrote it off at first, because it looks so like, oh, this is just by the book, paint by numbers, haunted house. It's called
like
The Night
our
House.
current version. Yeah, the Hereditary-esque version of that, yeah.
Yeah, and now that I know who directed it, I'm like, shit, I want to see this more than anything. Because this movie, like, yeah, what makes or breaks it is the visuals, you know what I mean? And from this director, I'm thinking the visuals are going to be great. It reminds me of, like, have you seen Caveat yet? That's a good horror movie that came out.
No, I want to.
That's not a particularly, like, original premise either, and in fact has some really stupid ideas. But it doesn't matter because the movie visually is terrifying. And so it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, horror is a sensory experience. It can be both. Like, you can be conceptually filled with dread because of the matters being discussed and how much trauma the characters are in. But also, you can just be like, nope, that looks scary. I hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be as simple as that, yeah.
Caveat has a lot of that. A lot of me literally going, oh, nope, I don't like
hate
that.
Thing with the big eyes or whatever.
Why are you, yeah. This director is also doing the Hellraiser reboot, which I now apparently have to see. So this is like one of 6 horror directors out there that I've been like, oh shit, I love everything they do. So
So you're even more
The
excited.
Nighthouse.
You said it's the one you most want to see more than the next one, Dave?
What's the next one?
Because the next trailer is wild, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh, it's LAAAAAMB.
That's right.
So I made a reference to I made a you reference because I feel like this should be called Who Fucked This Goat.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like you could have done this sketch with someone just holding a puppet.
You go like, well, it's hands or hooves, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. The devil? What do you mean the devil? Mary, what do you mean the devil? It's not the devil. You fucked the goat. Just say you fucked the goat. Yeah.
Because there's literally the moment that the goat gives birth to this thing. She looks up at her husband and he looks at her.
And he smiles and nods and he's like, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, it is speaking of disturbing imagery, I do think they stumbled upon humanoid animals can either be, it's interesting. They found an uncanny valley and they're mining it for scares and it's working. Humanoid animals often look cute or often just look inoffensive or can look natural where it doesn't bother you. But they combined a lamb with a humanoid body in a way that is not happy. It's not pleasant.
Yes.
Even though there's there's no slime or blood or anything. It's just a good, solid, creepy image of this little glassy-eyed kid with the head and hands of a lamb following the mother around. It's creepy shit.
So this movie was written by an Icelandic poet and novelist.
You know it's grim.
Named, I don't know if I can pronounce it, Sjon. Sjon. The O's all fucked up. It's got something fucked up over
Sjon.
it. I'll give you one guess of who he collaborates with often.
Lars?
No, Bjork.
Oh, that's why I saw a tweet that said Bjork did all the mocap for the lamb. Okay.
Oh, so I'm scared to watch this movie because I think I know what it's about, and I think it's going to emotionally devastate me. I think because there's parts in this trailer where she's
it's pretty clear.
What?
Well, they also have the line, "It's not your child, it's just a lamb." Is the one of the only featured lines in the trailer. Don't you think she lost her baby and she's treating the lamb like a baby
No,
to make up for that loss?
I think there's a little of that, but there's also a scene where they're she yells at the goat, and I assume the goat she yells at is the parent.
Right.
There's a part where someone is dragging a goat into a field, presumably to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's also the parent. I think she's going to be fighting the goat for ownership of this thing. And I think the movie is going to explore why aren't animals any different than us?
Oh, is that why at the end the tagline is Mother Nature? Because it's her versus she is equal to it's the case of human mother versus nature as a mother.
Yeah, I think this movie is going to be very sad to animals. I think we're going to see some, and I hate watching animals die in movies. It's my least favorite.
Even
thing.
the seagull in Lighthouse, that was funny.
No, that was hilarious. Here's all right.
Fuck that seagull.
For me, there's always this. It's like a rule where if something's so sad that it's over the top, then it becomes funny. You know what I mean? Or so grotesque, and the seagull is that, right? It's so grotesque that it's funny. In Idle Hands, Devon Sawa swings a cat by its tail. The cat's clearly a dummy, and he throws it out the window. That's funny because
True
it's so
Grit,
over the
riding
top.
the horse to death is very depressing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to have a lot of that
Stuff like that. Sure.
Yeah, I think this is going to be exploring that idea, kind of like the movie The Fly. The original,
do you
rather,
think
where it's kind of this is the lamb? Is it alive? Does it have a soul? It's got it's got the brain of a lamb, but it's got the heart of a human. What makes something alive? What makes it sentient? What gives it a soul? I think we're going to be exploring that, and there's going to be a kind of a devastating view of animals. within it or a devastating portrayal of certain animals. That's my guess of what this movie explores based on the trailer.
My guess was that she was... I'm wondering if you think there's any unreliable narrator component or it's a dark fable, like magical realism. Like, do you think the lamb is real? The little lamb kid?
I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think the movie's... I think as far as the world of the movie is concerned, it's going to be real. I base that off the fact that it's written by this dude who writes with Bjork.
Right.
I'm guessing it's going to be like a fairy tale, But I'm sure the characters are going to be... They definitely seem concerned that they have a lamb child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or do you think it's a gritty prequel to Lamb Chop's Play Along?
I think it's the origin story of Gritty.
Yeah?
Yeah, the mascot.
Yeah, sure.
He fucked that goat.
Yeah, fuck that goat. Someone fucked that goat. It doesn't seem like they're... it really should have just been called Who Fucked This Goat. It doesn't seem like anybody's pointing fingers at anybody else. I think she's just going to accept that this is a magical goat.
Right.
But clearly someone fucked that goat.
Yeah, mother exclamation point a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm sold just on the vibe, though. I'm into it.
I'm into it, too. I think it's going to be like that Nicolas Cage Pig movie where everybody's going to go watch it expecting to have a real romp.
And it'll be really bleak.
And it'll be really bleak
it's
and
Icelandic.
serious.
What were you expecting? Yeah.
Oh,
that's the
God,
tip-off.
yeah. Have you ever sat down and just watched an Icelandic movie?
Yeah, that's bleak shit.
It really is.
They have a thing going on with them.
It's so... it's because it's like Alaska everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's their
it's beautiful but spare. It's a modern sensibility, aesthetic, if you will.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think of Iceland. Did you ever see Noi? N-O-I?
Nope. Noi.
That's a early 2000s Icelandic film. It's brutal. Because again, they're all brutal. Should we move on?
Sure.
All right. Well, we got more people to thank. Do you want to do the first?
I'll take the first one. I'll take the first epic slam, Dave. Unkool-Aid Molotov says, "Fill me with the blood of your billionaires and drink deep, my brothers."
Uncool. That was solid.
Unkool-Aid.
Thank you.
E.T. the Extravagant Terresticle. Yet again, I can only freestyle one epic slam. Cody Johnson's. Is that right?
I think it's
Cody
spelled
Johnson's Time Machine Noise. Thank you. Pete Vorpagel. Thank you very much.
Pete.
Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory. Oh, a hearty thank you to you. And likewise, thank you to subscribe to Jason Pargin's Substack. I don't even know what a Substack is. I read what they put in front of me. And of course, last but not least, as regards this segment of names of people we're thanking, we finally arrive at a name for all seasons. The Midnight Patron, what patrons at midnight.
Woo! Thank you. Also, a thank you to Exploding Runes. Thank you to Andrew. How? Thank you to Vincent. Thank you to Rev MD.
Aye.
Thank you to Doctor DNA. Thank you to Lauren Gucci.
Hubba.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson. Thank you to all.
Thank you.
Let's talk news stories.
Okay.
I want to. All right. I'm actually going to start with the Scarlett Johansson thing, and then we'll get on to the fun news because I think the other two stories are good news.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because of the streaming release. Do you know what's going on here?
All I know is that they released Black Widow simultaneously to streaming and in theaters, I don't understand why Scarlett Johansson has any claim against or why it matters to her.
Well, this hadn't occurred to me, and now it makes me realize why so many movies aren't releasing during the pandemic. You know how we delayed all these movies, and we've been saying, like, why not just put it on streaming? There's a lot of reasons why, money being the primary
part of
one.
all of them. Yeah.
Specifically, Scarlett Johansson, I believe, was given points on the back end. She was told, you know, you'll get X percentage of the gross.
Oh, because I know recently a coalition of like theater owners also published a public letter saying like, we think it stinks that you released it on streaming, and Disney was like, fuck you. So yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, this is the difficulty that they're in. Is I think, you know, what happened was they saw the pandemic as an opportunity to be like, well, we can push our streaming platform. They weren't wrong. However, in the case of Black Widow, it was kind of post-pandemic. Like, I saw that in theaters.
And post-story beat. It's like the MCU had already passed the point. Black Widow's dead, for goodness sake. It's like that's a big part of it with everyone that I've spoken to about it. It's just like, you know, it's like releasing Army of Thieves. It just feels like out of nowhere.
There was a lot of hot takes. I saw people like, not hot takes, but like articles of people like, why did Black Widow not do well? And it's like, because you killed her character off years ago. And this prequel doesn't do anything for that. Like, the movie is, I don't know if you saw it, it kind of treats her death really like callously. And like it does feel very tacked on and unnecessary of a movie. It's like, oh, we did it, you guys. She solved the Red Room thing, sort of. And it's like, great. I mean, she's dead. And it like ends with her being like, now to go off and help my friends.
But we gave her a movie. It counts. It still counts. Yeah. We gave her a movie.
Exactly. It was like too little too late. They should have given this to her after Iron Man 2, for Christ's sakes.
But also, as far as like, ScarJo is not even my ultimate symbol of like, man, it's good to see her win one. Like, I don't really care if ScarJo thrives.
It's a very rich person suing a very, 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 very rich company. So, like, yeah, I guess I'm on her side.
Sure.
She's slightly,
always see
she's the less
Disney
rich.
taken down a notch. That's always good.
I think what it is, here's what it is that I hope they don't settle, and I hope she sues and wins, because that'll set a precedent that'll, you know, set a good direction for how streaming works. Because what we're seeing is kind of the equivalent of like Spotify for actors. You know what I mean? Where it's going to be a lot of this. It's going to be a lot of people doing movies for like back end stuff that'll then just go on streaming and they'll make no money.
Right.
It'll be a way for studios to not pay people. And not just actors, of course, but like, you know, writers.
And not just actors who are at a point in their career where they can get points on the back end, which is not common. Right.
Well, I think you can to some extent. Like the option I have like a couple points, but it's like, it's that Hollywood accounting thing where it's like they make sure they don't make any money.
Yo, the movie I'm making, the actors will not be getting points.
Yeah.
Unless they get points in lieu of pay.
Points are useless. I think points, unless you're Scarlett Johansson, if they're like, you'll get 2.5% on the back end, it's like, I know I'm not going to see that, because I know that Hollywood accounting, or not even just any accounting, usually is like, yeah, we barely made a profit. Like, that's what they're able to make all movies seem like they don't make any money.
Right. That's part of how they make so much money.
Yeah, it's why most movies are like legally their own independent businesses, I believe, like the production.
Well, we also live with a constant paradox, which is the common wisdom is that there's no worse investment than making a movie. Like, it's always a bad. You're always more likely to not make the money back than to make the money back. But at the same time, film as an industry is one of the most profitable. Like, video games are ahead of it now, but film is up there. So you have to wonder, I don't know, they can't both be true. I know some movies make no money and some movies make a ton of money. But if you look at the way the paperwork comes out, yeah, they make it look like they are squeaking by, which is always
Right.
a good look.
Point being is that what I'm guessing happened, because streaming is hard to tell how much a movie makes on streaming if you're releasing on Netflix. Thing is, though, I believe Black Widow on Disney Plus, I might be wrong, had a rental, right?
I thought it was like a $20 rental.
Yeah. So you could, it's a $30 rental.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's what I bet is what pissed her right off, is you could calculate, okay, this is how much money we made through rentals, right? What I'm guessing is her contract specifically says theaters.
Right.
And so they're like, sorry, that doesn't count.
And she's
So
aware
they are-
of the amount and how much she lost, and it's painful to know the number.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
So, I'm guessing that's what happened. I'm not asking anybody to feel bad for her. I certainly don't. But legally speaking, it would be better for her to win. I
That's
think
true.
for artists.
But I just realized more boring than cards is whether Scarlett Johansson has money or slightly less money.
Yes. She's the exact same age as me, and that depresses me every day. That makes me sad every day.
Yeah, let's not.
'Cause-
That's too much. That's an Icelandic path that you're taking us down.
She's so much prettier than me, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you don't really want me here. You want Soren. You couldn't get him. I get it.
Wait, what? I want you here.
He's pretty. He's the pretty one.
I'm saying she's prettier than me, not you.
I'm making it about my self-loathing.
All right.
Do you see what ScarJo's done to us?
God damn it, ScarJo.
Yeah, by being such a embodiment of
right, I'm
unassailable
gonna bring this back up.
perfection.
I'm going to bring this back up.
Yeah, what's a happy story?
The Die Hard prequel was canceled.
That is a very happy story.
That legitimately makes me happy. Even if it's just because it was merged with Disney and Disney dropped it from its schedule, I'm still glad it's not happening.
I heard that they filmed a whole Die Hard prequel, and then they realized the lead actor was using his German accent the whole time, and they just changed it to be an Army of the Dead prequel.
Oh, what if that was a Hans Gruber
That was Hans
fucking
Gruber.
prequel? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah. No, it didn't need to. The whole thing about Die Hard was Die Hard's an origin story. For John McClane, it's dumb to make anything that takes place before that movie. I wish that's why they canceled it, but they probably just canceled it because they did math and was like, we need to get rid of this.
Well, it's like, what
But,
would the grizzled, too old for this shit super cop be like if he was younger? Well, he would be a super cop with no defining characteristics. He'd just be a
Right.
good cop.
But
boring.
the fundamental point of Die Hard is look at this cop get thrown into an adventure that he never was prepared
that he's
for.
not cut out for. He can't be in his
Yeah.
prime. It's not the point
Right.
of him. Yeah.
So the idea that he had some other crazy adventure before Die Hard kind of negates the point of Die Hard. So, yeah. I'm glad it's canceled.
Me too.
I hope it never comes back.
I hope Scarlett Johansson somehow profits off of its cancellation.
Yes.
I hope she shorted that movie.
All right. Next story, I would like to talk about a prequel that should happen. This is the new Predator movie.
This is what I thought you were
which-
going to say was the happy news. This is great.
This is the happiest news. This is being titled Skulls, I assume after the Misfits song, and I assume Predator fights the Misfits. But more likely, based on what I'm reading, it's actually a period piece about the first Predator to arrive on Earth. I'm guessing it'll be the origin story to that pistol, that flintlock pistol in Predator 2 that the Predator gives Danny Glover.
So
You
you're
remember that?
thinking the age of whaling or like what time period?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's on. I know they covered it in one of the comics, one of the Predator comics, the history of that flintlock pistol.
The age of sail.
I want to see it adapted. We've said multiple times on this podcast and others that this is what you should do with Predator.
Well, see, unlike Die Hard, Predator's thing is it doesn't matter. You could put it anywhere,
Yes.
at any time, as long as there's a predator there. That's what
Well-
about Predator.
Also, as long as they're outgunned, that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. Same with Alien, is that an Alien movie or a Predator movie, the whole point is that neither of them are actually that formidable when you have like army drones and stuff. You have to put them in a place where the people have trouble, where they're like, we don't have any guns or we're trapped. So a period piece where they have like stupid old guns and they're fighting a predator, perfect. That's the best idea.
Yeah, I'm almost sad that that's the earliest point in canon that they came to Earth. I guess they could always write their way around it, though, because I'd like to see, like, ancient Egyptian predators.
Well,
I'd like to see dinosaur times predators.
Oh, yeah, for the record.
Dude, were predators big game hunting dinosaurs? That would roll.
Well, for the record, the flintlock thing is not necessarily... the first time they've come to Earth.
Oh, okay.
That's just that happens in Predator 2 to show like, oh, they've been here for a while.
Oh, right. But there's still a chance for it to be, because all we know is it's going to be a period piece about the first predator on Earth. So it could be, man, just slaughtering a family of Neanderthals mercilessly, and they're just
that
like
would be amazing.
Confused and sad. They don't understand why this is happening to them. I would love that.
Oh yeah. Some other things is that this is apparently already almost done filming.
Nice.
They just really snuck this up on us. It might be heading straight to Hulu, although honestly, I'd like to see this in theaters.
Honestly, I know I just said it as a joke, but now I am imagining like Far Cry Primal, or like a predator versus a very crafty Neanderthal, and a movie with no dialogue whatsoever.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. The director and writer are kind of unknown. The director did an episode. He did the pilot of The Lost Symbol. Yeah. Which I don't know if you watched last Hypecast. No. It's the Dan Brown TV show.
Yes, I heard the episode, yeah.
Yeah, he also directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a good movie ruined by being a Cloverfield movie.
Yeah. Does it even... Are you saying that the ending itself bothers you, or the fact that they called it as an afterthought?
No, it was legitimately its own indie film.
Yeah, I don't even mind the ending being out of left field. I think it kind of works, but there was no reason for it to be called Cloverfield Lane, yeah.
Yeah, I think Cloverfield's one of the worst movie series because it actively made movies worse by literally making movies worse.
Well, the Cloverfield paradox is one of the worst goddamn things I've seen in a long time.
It feels like you ever play a made up game with a child where they keep changing the rules. Mm-hmm. Like that's what Cloverfield feels like, where they're like, well, but this also in this. And so by taking this like legitimately good indie film about people in a bunker and tacking on this like Cloverfield bullshit, it just like felt like it, like muddied it. And then the series, it made a like an indie film that could have been remembered just like an installment in a bigger, shittier franchise. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm glad this person's making Predator. So, shit, I want to see this.
Yeah, I still haven't been to a theater. I need to go see that Green Knight boy.
Yeah, Green Knight. I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that in a few days.
Oh, nice.
All right, that's it for news stories. Shall we thank some more people?
Sure.
Party people?
Can I start?
Yeah, you can
with
start.
With my patented epic slam for Tux, a.k.a. Sucks.
Ooh!
Thank you, Tux. Epic slam. Ricky Cilantro, thank you. An epic slam to you. Epic slam for Norm from Cheers.
Thank you.
But a thank you as well. Thank you, Space McNulty.
Thank you.
Right. Only the first one gets an epic slam. The rest of you don't deserve it, which is an epic slam in and of itself.
Oh, shit.
Oh, great. It's that guy. We love you, that guy. And we love Nolan Mayton. And we thank you, Nolan. Thank you. We thank you, vaccinated. Yeah, that's right. Vaccinated man, Andrew McGuire.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tip Drizzle.
Woo! Nice. Thank you to Burrito Mouth.
Thank him.
Thank you. Thank you to Miss Voidus. or Mrs. Voidus. Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you. Thank you to Aaron Burser. Thank you very much. Thank you to David Knife Boot Henson, MBA CPA. Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire. Thank you. Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill. Thank you. Thank you to Vaccinated J. Thank you. Thank you to Pie Guy.
I wish they could put the vaccine in a J.
Mm-hmm.
Let me spark up this bone and kill COVID, bruh.
Ooh, yeah. You gotta do the thing. Michael, you gotta do the thing.
You need prompting. Because otherwise the thing doesn't work. Hey, shh, they can't hear you as long as you speak in that stage whisper. But I have a question.
What?
As Surrogate Tom, that I feel the audience might also benefit from.
What?
David, do you have, to wrap up the show here, maybe a movie that deserves more hype?
Oh, funny you should ask, because I do.
I didn't even need to be reminded to remind you of that.
I know. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I think everybody's going to see this one a mile away if they've been paying attention to the internet, because this has gotten somewhat.
I was aware of this. It looks amazing.
We got to talk about Phil Tippett's Mad God. Now, Phil Tippett, as you know, famous dinosaur supervisor on Jurassic Park,
Dino Wrangler,
became a meme. Phil Tippett is the person responsible for a lot of the stop motion animation you grew up loving, stuff in RoboCop, the motherfucking chessboard in Star Wars, etc. He is a very, very famous stop motion artist. He was originally going to be doing the dinosaur effects in Jurassic Park before CGI. He's amazing. You love him, even if you don't know his name. And he made a movie, but rather he started making a movie in the 80s after working on RoboCop 2. And then 20 years later, he was like, oh yeah, I was making a movie and I was interrupted because of Jurassic Park. So he got the original puppets and sets out of storage and he continued to make the movie.
Well, I think it's important to note he continued at this point 20 years later to get younger artists under him to make it for him under his supervision, which is the way you do it 20 years later. You're like, yeah. Let me get some interns in here and wrap this bad boy up.
Yes, absolutely. Mad Dog is described as a paradise lost for the nuclear age, unfolding as a corroded diving bell ascends amidst a ruined city, and the assassin emerges from it to explore a labyrinth of bizarre landscapes inhabited by freakish denizens. He also called it a world of monsters, mad scientists, and war pigs. So it's very like boomer, like anti-establishment, like trippy stuff.
It's a trip. It's a trip film.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not dismissing it by calling it that. It's when you watch the trailer, you'll know exactly. It looks like a fucking nightmare. It looks like that movie
Tool
Alice
music video. Yeah.
Yeah, that stop motion movie Alice, that German Alice in
Jan
Wonderland
Svankmeyer's
adaptation.
Alice, yes.
Yeah, or it looks like a Terry Gilliam type film, but from like the 80s or 90s. So it's, in other words, it looks fucking awesome. It's hitting
and also
festivals.
really like metal and lots of detail and really upsetting to look at.
Yes, really upsetting.
Very oingo boingo.
Yes. It's coming out in festivals right now, so I'm guessing someone's going to immediately scoop it up based on the hype that it's getting. And we'll see it on streaming pretty soon.
Man, I'm
guessing
hope.
by the end of the year. I'm guessing it'll be on streaming like beginning of 2022. That's my guess. It looks so fucking cool. So everybody go out, Google Phil Tippett's Mad God, and just Google Phil Tippett if you haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. Stop motion does have a unique ability to be creepy in its own special way.
Yes, and I'm glad there's a few like indie films that are bringing it back, and I'm glad that the people who have nostalgia for it are making movies now, because there is a place for it. Especially if you go back and you watch the stop motion test for Jurassic Park that they threw out, because that was like a new technology of stop motion that actually looked really fucking good, and I want to see more of that.
Have you ever seen the Academy Award-winning stop-motion short Balance?
No.
The Mad God trailer reminded me of it. It's really great, and I'm going to send it to you as soon as we wrap up here.
Oh, please do. Please do. But that's it. That's the sode.
Nice. Okay.
We
I'll
did
send
it.
you that link.
Send it. Yeah, please. Michael, thank you so much for being my guest co-host.
Thank you, man. It's my pleasure and my honor, and I want to apologize for those epic slams. I had a few root beers in me, and things got,
It got a little
goo-goo.
dark, yeah.
Things went haywire.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
Went a little hinky. What can I say?
Yeah. Do you want to tell people what you've been up to, where people can find you?
As I
what's going on?
As I said, I'm doing all kinds of shiz, so it's hard to keep straight. But two places you can find out about all of it are on Twitter at Swaim_Corp, where I usually keep people abreast of what I'm doing, because it's too much to say right now. And if you want to catch all of our Small Beans content, where I host a number of other podcasts about things like this and other things, that's over at patreon.com/smallbeans.
Nice.
And yeah, Dave, have you figured out what Star Trek to pair with our next Futurama? Because
I saw the email chain and I was gonna respond to it soon. I swear.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on the ones I've been pitching, so I don't know.
All right, I'll give it a think. I've been
all right,
kind of putting that on the back burner. When are we recording next?
Monday.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay,
that's
I'll think about
that's
it.
a show Dave and I do together, and that's a hell of a lot of fun. So look for that as well.
Yeah, that's on the Small Beans, and it's also on our Gamefully Unemployed.
It alternates.
If you go to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, that's one of the exclusive podcasts on there. Well, not exclusive because it's also on Small Beans, but we do have Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We also have a Teespring store, gamefully-unemployed.creator-spring.com. If that's too confusing, just go to www.gamefullyunemployed.com and it'll redirect you there. We have all sorts of t-shirts on there and posters.
Or just Google Teespring Gamefully. That's what I do.
Yeah, do that. That's fine too. Whatever gets you there, or just fucking live your life. It's fine.
Don't wear a shirt.
Don't
Why
wear a shirt. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't wear a shirt. What a good idea.
Just nip all the time.
Yeah, nips out. All right. I guess say goodbye.
Nips out.
Bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.